We give our first impressions of the new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe, the latest news on NAFTA and how it might be affecting car buying, and we take your questions next on Talking Cars. Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Mike Quincy.
I'm Jake Fisher.
And I'm Keith Barry.
As we do just about every day of our professional lives, we're studying what's going on in the automotive world, and the hottest topic right now is the reworking of NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. There's a lot going on, there's a lot up in the air, but really what it comes down to is, Keith, how does this affect
It comes down
people?
To you.
Yeah, it all comes down to
me.
Keith.
Yeah.
He's going to be making the decision here.
Yep.
But when it comes down to car buyers, how this may or may not affect them?
Well, I've read a lot, I've talked to a lot of people, and basically what it comes down to is that we don't know. There's so much in flux right now, and
we don't know.
and if anything actually does happen, it may be until 2023 before the full effects are shown. And we don't even know, who's agreeing to what. The complex, the process of building a car is so complex. If you are looking for a car right now and you need a car, buy a car. If you don't need a car, don't buy a car. That's kind of what it comes down to. This isn't, a country in economic chaos where people are buying washing machines because inflation is 2,000%.
Right.
This is a renegotiation. It's somewhat chaotic. And we don't have enough information in order to give sort of definitive consumer advice. And anyone who tells you otherwise isn't telling you the truth.
Right. So some people are suggesting car prices might go up. Some people are suggesting that people might be priced out of the new car market, so they might be going to used cars. So now used cars prices, demand and price are going up. I mean, you think there's any cause for people to start rushing out and buying stuff?
The sky may fall, but maybe it won't. Again, Keith's totally right. I mean, we really don't know what is going on. I mean, this could be a lot of posturing. It could be a lot of negotiating tactics, or it may actually happen. I mean, the truth is that if the tariffs do go through, all boats are going to get more expensive. I think that's the saying.
And cars too.
Those too. Oh, there's boat tariffs?
Because we're going to do a new podcast, Talking Boats. No,
exactly.
Because we already do Talking Bikes. Anyway, sorry.
That went over well. So, but yeah, it's, clearly, look, I mean, it is a global trade, right? I mean, who knows what's really American and what's not these days, right? I mean, you look at these cars and they're sourced all from all over the world. We've got domestic cars that are built overseas. We've got domestic cars that are built in China. We've got Japanese cars that are built in America that actually do meet the new 75% rules. I mean, you look at an Accord
So some manufacturers won't be affected by this at all.
Kia Optima, I mean, that's probably more of a domestic car than many domestic cars, according to these rules. So it's really, really confusing. But I mean, if you do get into a tariff situation, even the cars that are going to be domestically produced, they're probably going to raise prices too, because again, it's a market thing, right? I mean, they set the prices to the market. So it's not like some cars are going to go up and other ones aren't.
But it's not like they're going to go up the percentage that the tariffs go up, because the car manufacturers still want to move cars. So they might adjust the prices, they might put incentives in, they might move where suppliers are coming from. I mean, it's all in flux.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
I mean, if suddenly the prices of all the cars go up, the sales are going to go down, and they're still producing these cars.
Right.
So they have to go and sell the cars. And that's the interesting thing about car pricing. It really, the connection to what it actually costs to produce a car isn't that important. It's more about the market and what they can sell it for.
All right, and the automakers can obviously adjust pricing a lot quicker and more with more agility than they can, adjusting their production.
Remember employee
and stuff
pricing after 9/11 when the market sort of tanked? Right. All of a sudden, every domestic car was significantly less expensive.
I mean, you know what could possibly happen? I mean, here, I'll make predictions, but imagine all of a sudden these tariffs go through and all of a sudden it's much more expensive to sell these vehicles. Well, they could sell them at a loss, and then they get all these tariffs, and then they subsidize the car companies with those tariffs. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Right now, it's just anyone's guess.
So we're going to be following this. We'll let you know if stuff changes, and good luck out there in the market, because we're going to have to see how this all pans out. So next on the agenda is the cars that we're driving at the track. We've recently acquired a 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe for our test program. Pretty impressive so far. Jake, can you give us, at least your first impressions?
First impression, the Hyundai Santa Fe. I mean, obviously, Santa Fe, we got a name like that. It's very exciting, but it actually is pretty impressive. I mean, really, it's one of these vehicles once you get into the vehicle, not even that, you look at the car. I mean, it's quite stylish. I mean, you look at how the Santa Fe has kind of been like blah, for a long time, and you look at this, it's like, wow, this looks good. I mean, it almost looks like, a luxury, brand. You get inside, you really feel like you're in a luxury brand. I mean, the interior is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't remember seeing an interior of a vehicle that is this stylish, the mix of materials, the colors.
The headliner.
Oh,
I mean, the headliner
Before we
is better
started filming this, they went on 15 minutes about the headliner.
I mean, it's nicer than some materials that I own, like suits made out of. It really is, just that little attention to detail that they put into it. I mean, this isn't just a car that's competing against other cars. This is a car that is forging its own identity. And I think that's really cool. And not just for the Santa Fe, but for Hyundai in general. I mean, this is a car that is saying, this is what you get when you buy a Hyundai. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, it used to be kind of like, okay, you get the Hyundai because it's value. I get a lot for my money, right? I can afford the leather, when on the other cars it's the same for the cloth. But it hasn't lost that. It still has a value proposition. I mean, you look at, we got a pretty well equipped one. I mean, we got the up-level engine with a turbo, and it still costs quite a bit less than, competitors, that we have tested, the Nissan Murano or the Ford Edge. And yet, now you get into it, and it's like, it looks really, really nice. They've added all that by keeping the value proposition.
And Keith, it has a few interesting tech details.
Yeah, it does. It does. So it's some of the first that we've ever seen on cars. So it has not just a rear seat reminder to make sure that you don't leave a child there, which is something we talk about a lot. Tragically, a lot of people. A lot of children die every year from being left in cars, and it's a problem that almost anyone can have given the right circumstances. And this car actually has a motion detector that can tell whether or not you've left a child or even a pet back there, and it'll alert you that there's someone back there. And we tested it out. Our own Dr. Emily Thomas, like throwing that in there, she tested it out and said, sometimes there are a couple of cases where it didn't work as well as advertised, but in general, it's a great system and it works. It also has a system that can detect oncoming traffic or cyclists, and it'll prevent the rear doors from opening, so your kids won't, open that door and door someone or swing it in front of a car. And that's sort of an interesting safety feature that we've never seen before. And I think it speaks again to this being a car that isn't just, we're going to make a different version of the Ford Edge. This is a very unique and great car in its own right. Mm-hmm. How does it drive?
Well, actually,
we talked about everything.
All these other features.
Yeah.
Really, I thought the handling felt really secure. The steering to me was one of the most impressive things I felt. A lot of feedback, just the right amount of weight and heft for my tastes. The fit and finish, as you mentioned before, are top notch. I spent a weekend in our Infiniti QX50, which is a pretty high end kind of car, and I'm telling you, I'd rather drive the Santa Fe than that Infiniti.
Yeah.
And compared to the RDX and the QX50, even the interior, that's the other thing that I think Hyundai's really making a name for, is the straightforward. The buttons are labeled properly. There are no silly touch pads or these weird proprietary systems that you need to learn.
They're using technology for good instead of evil. I mean, it's a lot of times you see these cars, they put all this technology and it's just stuff that gets in the way. You go and you turn on your car and there's a little animation that plays between going from FM to XM or something like that. I don't need that.
Right.
That's cool and stuff, but now I have to sit there and wait. They're using this technology for good stuff, like safety and making it convenient. And it has a lot of the features. I mean, look at the infotainment. Again, we've talked about Hyundai and Kia like this before. It's like, it's got all the stuff, but it's easy and simple to use, and it's not distracting. I mean, that's really, they
easy,
know how to do that well.
Accessible. It almost sounds like a broken record. You might not be considering Hyundai or Kia in your automotive choices, but guess what? You really should. That moves on to our next segment, which is honestly one of our favorites. We love taking your questions. Our audience questions are one of the highlights of this podcast. Please keep them coming to TalkingCars@iCloud.com. That's TalkingCars@iCloud.com. First up is a video question from Kevin from Casper, Wyoming.
Hello, Talking Cars. My name is Kevin in Casper, Wyoming. I'm a big fan. Been watching since I was in freshman year of high school. Just had 2 questions for you guys. I just bought a brand new Mazda 6. It does have the lane keeping assist and automatic braking. And does it actually turn on the brake light to let the people behind me know I'm slowing down, or is it just something that you have to watch? And my second question is, I also have a 2014 Toyota Tundra. I know Toyotas have great reliability. I know the gas mileage is not the best, but I mean, for a truck, I've never had problems with it. So I was just wondering why it's not recommended. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your day.
So a couple of great questions here. Jake, fill us in on what maybe other people are seeing when a car puts on its automatic emergency braking.
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, he's got a great point. I mean, if the brakes are going on the car and the car is slowing down, it only is logical that the brake lights go on. I mean, years ago, there's a little switch on the brake pedal, and as your brake pedal actually goes down, it clicks the little switch. Those days are kind of not here anymore. So yes, we actually took a look. We happened to have his vehicle.
Yeah,
and
we had a little footage of our own Mazda 6 with the automatic emergency braking turning on as it should.
Right. So we just to kind of prove the point, we put it through those motions, and yes, the brake lights go on, and as they should. So the brakes go on. It makes sense. In our experience, we've seen this. The vehicles that when the brakes actuate, that the lights do go on. This is interesting because actually, when originally we were starting evaluating stability control, the vehicles would slow down quite a bit. Not all of the vehicles would actually have the brake lights go on, even though the brakes were actually actuating.
Right.
But with AEB, yeah, it's essential.
So just another reason to seek out a car with automatic emergency braking. The other part of your question is about the Toyota Tundra. And actually, this is the best part of our answers is good news. The Tundra actually is recommended. Even the 2014 model is a CR good bet as a used car. So please don't fret about the reliability of your Tundra because you're actually in quite good shape.
Yeah, good choices, Kevin.
Next question we've got coming up is from Rafi of Puerto Rico, who sent us a collection of Instagram stories about the woes of driving on some roads. He writes, I have a 2017 Corolla IM. The ground clearance is awfully small for Puerto Rico's roads. Let's not talk about the 4 or 5 tires and a rim that I've blown out this year because of potholes. Is there any safe way to raise my car so I can get more ground clearance so I won't be hitting the ground so often?
Well, let's talk about the tires. Yeah, maybe we should talk about the tires.
Right. Of course, we do a lot of tire testing here. We know a lot about tires, but Jake, what's your first bit of advice for Rafi?
Well, first of all, I would not recommend raising the vehicle. I mean, obviously, you got a car, the IM. I mean, it's low. It's kind of got some ground effects and whatnot, and that's just going to happen. I mean, this is part of the reason why so many people are going for small SUVs these days. I mean, you're just a little bit tougher. You've got a little bit better approach angles. You're higher up, but most importantly, it's those potholes that he doesn't want to talk about, which is kind of the bigger problem and the more expense that you have. Because, I mean, we've seen it. I mean,
hello.
Tell me about the LS there.
Yeah. No, I was driving our tested Lexus LS, and this is a $100,000 plus car. Coming home one night and hit a pothole in the Mass Pike, and all HE-double-L cut loose and that, and the tire was gone, the rim was gone, and what was it, about $1,300 to replace this?
It was well over $1,000 to replace.
And the car was out of our fleet for
right.
So I mean, the issue is it's insane inconvenience, and it's very expensive to replace these factory rims. So that is, again, you get a small SUV, you've got more sidewall, right? I mean, so you look at the wheel, right? I mean, you look at the IM, and it's this low-profile tire, which means there's only a little bit of tire there and a whole lot of rim, and you go and you hit a pothole, and you're cracking these things, and it's an inconvenience and very expensive. So you get something else, you're going to be better off. I mean, it's not so easy to go buy a new car. I know that's kind of, hard advice. I mean, raising it is going to be a mess. The thing is going to handle poorly.
But you can get new rims and tires.
But you can change the rims and tires.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I happen to just take a quick look. I mean, there's a car that comes with standard 17-inch low-profile tires.
Those are huge for a car that size.
But becoming more and more standard. But I mean, the truth is that you could put other rims on. So there's alternative sizes. So you could actually, when we talk about +1, where people get bigger rims and lower profile, you could go -1. So you could actually get 16-inch wheels on this vehicle in the aftermarket that have actually meatier tires, which are not going to be as susceptible to potholes.
A bigger sidewall and stuff like that.
Now, my own father did that on a car of his. He got a Volvo that had low-profile tires. It was used. He didn't want the low-profile tires. And driving around Boston, the roads aren't that great in the wintertime, and blew so many tires, he decided, I'm just done with it. So he actually ended up getting Steelies and and the car looked kind of cool. It was sort of, it was a different kind of look to it. But
my parents did the exact same thing. They went through 3 rims, so they were 18-inch rims.
Oh my God.
And they were like, and they didn't like the car rode poorly, and they're not not taking the car around a racetrack or anything. They actually went down 3. They went to 15s. From 18s to 15s, these big, tall sidewalls, and they're like, the car rides so well now. And it was a factory size, but just in the equipment package.
So it didn't look like, it didn't make the car really look goofy or anything.
No.
Oh, that's good. So
I've never had another rim problem.
I'll bet everyone has stories of broken rims or broken tires because of lousy roads.
broken hearts.
Broken hearts.
And insult to injury, they don't have spare tires in many of these cars too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Great question, and something that affects a lot of people. So we get so many of these questions. We wish we could get to all of them. We simply run out of time. But once again, you can reach us at talkingcars@icloud.com. Keep them coming.
Maybe we'll do another all-question show like we did last week.
I love those.
Yeah, me too.
I've got some questions.
and we've got answers.
I hope so.
So this brings us to our last question. This one from Martin.
This one feels very, very familiar to all of us.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. This question really appealed to a number of us because we've all kind of lived through this. Martin writes, "Hi, Talking Cars. I'm 15 years old and I'm my family's car person. I've found and pretty much negotiated both of my parents' cars to get great deals. They drive a 2017 Subaru Outback and a 2017 Volkswagen Jetta. Once both leases are up, what car should we get? We're thinking about the Volkswagen Tiguan SEL Premium. Did I say that right?
Tiguan.
Tiguan.
Premium.
And premium. I got premium right. And the Volkswagen Golf All-Track SE with a manual. So some interesting cars on this list. Keith, what advice do you have?
So I like this. So there can be some reliability issues with Volkswagen. So I like the idea that these are cars are going to be leased, so they're going to be under warranty the whole time. I like the all-track. I mean, personally, I like the all-track. I like the fact you can get it with a manual, and I like the fact that the SE comes with all those same, the advanced safety features. It has automatic emergency braking. It has forward collision warning, and it comes with a stick shift. So if your parents are into that, that's pretty cool. I support the Golf. All-track, save the manuals and wagons.
Right.
Yeah.
Jake, do you have any advice outside of that? Any alternatives that you might throw out instead?
My advice would be awesome being the car person in the household, and these are good car person choices, and I think his parents are going to be happy with this.
Right.
I mean, these are that's the way to go, and it's just interesting because I think we've all gone through this. I mean, 15-year-old me was I think I was trying to lobby my parents to get a late 80s Acura Integra,
They should have held on to that.
Yeah,
well,
really.
They
take it to
they
Radwood.
Didn't get it. Well, I mean, we wound up with a Mazda 323 station wagon again
With a manual.
With a manual, yes, of course. That's the car person choice. But yeah, I mean, I'm almost interested. I wonder how many other people who are watching the show or listening to the show have similar stories of this is what I was trying to get my parents to get when I was 15.
I love the idea of a
I would love to hear
15-year-old telling the dealer, no, not a penny less or my parents are walking. No, I mean, now I help my parents negotiate car, and I help my friends negotiate car deals just because I've done it so much.
Martin walks into the dealer and says, I got the checkbook.
Yeah.
I'm making this decision.
Cash.
He's walking in with the Consumer Reports,
Well, that's true too.
That's awesome. I love that we're training the next generation.
Yeah.
I was the youngest of 3 kids in my household. My father was the car guy, but neither my brother or sister had any interest in going car shopping. So I would always be the one that would go along, and I would be reading my car magazines and making suggestions. And I came really close to talking him into buying either the late 70s or early 80s Saab 900 turbo, and he was kind of intrigued by the technology because it was early turbocharging. But he took one look at the rear spoiler and said, "Yeah, too racy."
See, my mother was the sort of the car person in our family, and we had a mid '80s Chevy Cavalier that spent a little time at the dealer. And as a reward for my being patient and accompanying her, I would always get a brochure of something. So I had this kind of great collection of mid '80s, early '90s heartbeat of America. But my favorite was one time when I was hanging out there, and the dealer came over and said, "Kid, you want to see something cool?" And he brought me over to the new Lumina APV that had the dust buster with the dent-resistant body panels, and he started just wailing on the thing, trying to show me that it wouldn't dent, and I was terrified.
So let me take a whack, and should have aimed like right at the headlight.
Yeah, I'm still afraid of minivans to this day.
I mean, after helping my parents, I'm sure it was a lot of help. But once I got my license, then it became, don't do this at home, kids. But I mean, I feel sorry for all the dealerships, because I went in and would like try to test drive vehicles, like, I'm looking for a brand new car, and it was like, I wasted the time of so many.
I'm sorry, we don't have an Evo on the lot, sir.
Well, I mean, this is the early '90s, so I think my proudest moments were the MR2 Turbo and the Mazda RX-7 Turbo.
So they actually let you. They gave you the keys, and they let you.
They let
take
me
it.
drive. I mean, sometimes they were like sitting there next to me, whatever. But it's like, oh my God, what a great time.
Awesome.
That was a golden age.
Yeah,
it was.
Anyway, Martin, great question. Glad that you get one of hopefully many teenage viewers. Really, really great to have you along with us.
Kids,
at
don't
TalkingCars.
let your parents pay for undercoating or vin etching.
Don't. Yes, exactly.
Well, Osley, that's going to about do it for this episode. As always, look on the show notes for more information on the cars or topics that we discussed. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.